Ladies and gentlemen, today is Prowsul's news update of what's been happening so far in the world today of professional wrestling. That is correct. Today is the 19th of the 1st, 2014. That's right, we're in 2014. Who would have thought? But anyway, let's not think about that. Let's go on about professional wrestling. Okay, so straight up off the bat, I will go into what was happening with Danielbryan, because quite frankly, honestly, I was confused myself in terms of, oh wait a minute, Danielbryan has now suddenly in a matter of 2 weeks turned back against Bray Wyatt. What is going on there? Seriously, what was going on? Now, apparently, Wrestling Observer have stated, there's an article on there, have a read of it, is perfect, but it tells you exactly what happened. Well, basically, they were setting up, they had two options for Danielbryan. One was he was going to remain the bad guy until Elimination Chamber, and at Elimination Chamber he would turn against Bray Wyatt, and then at WrestleMania he'd be facing Bray Wyatt for, well, there's no title. Or the other match was he was going to go and be a tag team partner with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30, that is, obviously. And halfway through the match he would turn against Bray, and quite frankly the whole babyface element will come back to normal again at that point. And quite frankly, I have to say, in terms of storyline wise, the WWE only thought of that. That was just absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. It really could have, what I would have thought personally would have been ideal for me in my opinion, was Danielbryan basically still remaining heel and try to attack The Undertaker and face against The Undertaker at WrestleMania, while three other guys are going to be there, or the Wyatt family, and obviously in the end the Taker wins it, and Danielbryan comes back to babyface at the end of the match. That would have been awesome. That is the ideal. I should be a writer for the WWE. I'm telling you, if WWE are watching or listening to this, you should make me a writer, just based on that one thing. Okay, anyway, but I have to say that was a really bad plan, because quite frankly, what's happened, WWE now feel very embarrassed because there was a yes chant at the Michigan State game, where on the Michigan State crowd was chanting yes, and they put it up on ESPN, and even all the NFL people were all doing it, and then they felt very, very sad and angry, and I can imagine, because suddenly now they've just stopped saying yes, 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 because he's now gone to heel, and this is a reason why he's back to normal as a babyface. So, what's in store for Danielbryan? Well, quite frankly, who knows? It's clearly just going to be against Bray Wyatt during WrestleMania, but that remains to be seen. But what really has confused me is what's going to happen with The Undertaker then? Who is he going to be facing? Because it was either Brock Lesnar or, what's his name? Danielbryan. And I thought Danielbryan would have been the perfect match due to Bray Wyatt and all them like trying to bring him back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre days. However, that wasn't the case, and now we know that both of them are booked, really, because quite frankly, I think Elimination Chamber, Brock Lesnar is going to be facing the world title, for the world title. I think he's going to get it during that match. He'll probably be against Randy Orton or John Cena, one of the two. But then he'll lose it at WrestleMania 30. And, oh, that would actually be good for The Undertaker. Wouldn't it? If Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the title. Now that would be a good match to see. I would like to see that. But to be truthful, I don't think they're going to have a match because, quite frankly, on a personal level, watch Ariel Helwani's interview. They do not get along. They hate each other. They literally hate each other on a personal level. And with The Undertaker, he likes to plan his matches before he actually does it for WrestleMania. Therefore, Brock Lesnar doesn't care about practicing. He wants to just get in there and do it. And quite frankly, he's very good at getting in there and doing it. And speaking of Brock Lesnar, last week Dana White from the UFC said that basically they're looking maybe to get Brock Lesnar back. Maybe after, who knows, after WrestleMania 30, Brock might come back in the UFC. Who knows? Because he felt as though the diverticulitis, which he had in his stomach at the time, made him lose a lot of power. It didn't make him strong enough to come to fight against Overeem. And let's not forget, Alistair Overeem, straight after that match, not straight after the match, I mean obviously after that match he was drug tested, not particular after the match, but later on, a month down the line, when he was going to be announced to fight for the title, he was tested for he was randomly tested, and his testosterone level was 14 to 1, when an average man is 1 to 1, so on a ratio. So clearly, Brock Lesnar, he still has it in his tank, in my opinion. I think he can still do the UFC. I think he might do it as well, because I think the thing with Brock Lesnar, he is a competitor, and that's the thing which is lacking in the WWE. There is no real big challenges out there, and I think Brock Lesnar, although he does get paid a huge bunch of amount of money, I don't know how many million per year, but regardless, I would like to see him in the UFC just for the one last time. But that's just my opinion anyway on that. But it would be disrespectful as well to the WWE, considering the amount of money that they pay to him and the amount of promotion they give Brock Lesnar. But then again, Brock Lesnar was a star when he first came in. He was really the next big thing. He wasn't just a hype train, just like what's his name, Curtis Axel. I mean, Curtis Axel is very talented, don't get me wrong, but quite frankly, in terms of when you compare him to Brock Lesnar, when you saw him on the first day, you knew he was a beast. He was too green, and I think Paul Heyman looked after him perfectly, completely. Now, on to, again, Daniel Bryan. Apparently last week on Raw, during Raw, Daniel Bryan got concussed. That's why he's missed a few shows. Who would have thought he would actually miss a few shows? These are house shows which are not aired on TV, so he's missed a few house shows because he's got concussed. Concussed, for those people who don't know what concussed is when you get knocked out as such. So he got concussed, and he was out for them days, and I think the only time he would have got concussed is when Bray Wyatt did that finishing maneuver, which kind of maybe bounces his head against the canvas. And I think sometimes Daniel Bryan does go hard on when he goes to wrestle. So I think that's not good news, really, in my opinion, for Daniel Bryan, because normally Daniel Bryan is a very, very strong physical wrestler, and for him to be concussed, it is kind of worrisome, considering now, I mean, in the past it was Dolph Ziggler's getting concussed, which you could argue that Dolph Ziggler overdoes it anyway, and he's asking for getting concussed, really. He looks like it to me. When I watch Dolph Ziggler's matches, I think he's looking to die in the ring. God forbid that ever happens to him. But it looks like as though he is literally just saying, I'm gonna get power drive to my head from 30 foot off a ladder, He would do it. I think that's the thing with Dolph Ziggler. He's that committed to the wrestling, and I think that's where he goes wrong. He needs to calm himself down, maybe have some chamomile tea or something along the line of that. Now, anyway, on to Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio. Now, Rey Mysterio saying that he wants Alberto Del Rio for WrestleMania 30. I would say yes, go for it. I think that would be an ideal match. I think they both are very good in terms of action. I think Del Rio has gone a lot better in terms of his action. I think it'd be good for the Mexican crowd as well, because the Mexicans they like Rey Mysterio quite a bit, and let's be honest, Del Rio is a Mexican as well. Therefore, this will be ideal for the crowd for at WrestleMania 30. But as well as that, Del Rio has been he's been asking for Batista, really, hasn't he? Over the past few weeks, he's been asking for Batista. Who knows what's going to happen in the Royal Rumble? I think what's going to happen is Del Rio is going to be chucked out of the Royal Rumble by Dave Batista, and then Del Rio will go inside the ring and chuck Dave Batista out, and then at Elimination Chamber they might have a match together, which will be a good match to watch. That's my opinion, but who knows? I can never guarantee these things anyway. That's what makes wrestling so good anyway, I guess. Anyway, Bret and Smith Hart as well are saying that on the WWE Hall of Fame, that Bret, Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, that is, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and Brian Pillman should all be inducted into the Hall of Fame as a unit, as the Hart Foundation. I think that is very good in a way that they would actually bring them all together in one, especially. And then I didn't want Bret to come out and do a speech or anything like that for Owen Hart, because I do feel as though Bret has over the years basically done a Hulk Hogan on his family in terms of taking all the credit all the time for himself and putting himself in the spotlight. However, on this occasion, I have to say that it would be the most respectable thing to be done, to be truthful. I think Bret Hart can definitely talk about Owen Hart and the good times of the Hart Foundation and all the other guys, and I think he would be the ideal person to do the speech for them, because as well as that, a lot of people would know, everybody knows who Bret Hart is, and if it was like Smith Hart or, well, there's nobody else, is there? Unfortunately, that's really sad when I think about how Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and Brian Pillman have died. It's really shocking to me. It really is, and yeah, that's sad. Apparently now Brock Lesnar is gonna be on Raw. Paul Heyman has said that. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's always interesting when Brock comes on Raw. Simply does something crazy, which is always good to see. You know, we like a bit of craziness, just like the Ultimate Warrior. No, in general, it's good. On Raw, by the time this is out, it'll be tonight. So on Raw, he will be there doing his thing, and Vince has been tweeting about the Ultimate Warrior as well. Just he tweeted a video where Ultimate Warrior was doing some acting, and he was saying not even the devil can do better than him in terms of, I think it was his acting in terms of him puking up, because Papa Shango is actually the Godfather, if you know that, everybody, and he puked up all over the doctors. Ultimate Warrior did. That was because he was cursed by Papa Shango, And that was a good segment, I have to say. That was a thing. It was very, very well done. It was very good. Shame about the matches at the time. It wasn't good matches between Shango and Warrior. I have to say, I'm being honest, it wasn't. That was one of the downfalls, unfortunately, of that big return. And now, JR, on to JR. Now, JR has been blogging and JR has been talking, and he's saying that at WrestleMania. I don't know if he was saying WrestleMania, but generally he was saying the Ultimate Warrior should face. Yeah, I think it was. It was at WrestleMania. Ultimate Warrior should be facing Sandow. That would be an entertaining match to watch. Or if not at WrestleMania, you could do it at another event. I do think that will be worth watching, considering the fact that, well, Ultimate Warrior is back, and he's back with the WWE on his terms. But to be truthful, as we know, whenever the Ultimate Warrior and Vince have done business, it has not lasted a long time. Therefore, I'm not expecting a huge amount of time for the Warrior to be in the WWE. I hope he is. I really do. I hope he comes I hope he does what Bret Hart does. Really, I really do. I hope he gets a role like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, where he comes back and he gives a bit of his input as such and does his little things. But I don't see it happening because I think, well, I don't, due to the past history, because it's not happened like once or twice. I think it has had about twice. It's happened a few times really. One in Sergeant Slaughter time, when it was the Ultimate Maniacs versus the Sergeant Slaughter and his team. It wasn't the Ultimate Maniacs. It was Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior versus Sergeant Slaughter and all. And then after a few, about 2-3 times actually now. But yeah, that would be good to see. Ultimate Warrior versus Sandow. I'm sure it's not going to last a long time. It would be good to see just for nostalgia. There's no doubt about it. I'd love to see that. And then he talked about The Undertaker, saying his last match should be against Cena. And quite frankly, I don't want to know about Taker's last match. I don't want to know if he's going to have a last match. I don't want to feel that. So I hope that don't happen. I hope John Cena doesn't face The Undertaker. Although we would like John Cena to lose against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. That would be good to see. However, I don't want to have that feeling as though that is the last match of The Undertaker. That is the full step. I don't want to know that. No. That's just me. Okay, and he was going on about, someone asked Jim Ross, a question about why the WWE has been going down, and he said it's really due to the young talent that is emerging. They are not good enough, or they're not progressing. They're not good enough, he was saying, but that's why the business is actually suffering, is like the new talent isn't evolving and becoming in the main event as such. And not that it was criticizing the actual talent, but it was just saying they are not main event status now. Even the new youngster wrestlers aren't really building a future, becoming stars as such. And I would have to agree with that. I mean, besides Danielbryan, have you seen anybody else? I think Dolph Ziggler has tried, but he has failed, and unfortunately, I don't see him getting better anyway. Him with the surf bum type of look that he's got, he needs to change it really. But that's my opinion on Dolph Ziggler. I could, you may think differently, but I do agree with Jim Ross. Really, I do feel as though professional wrestling doesn't have any stars anymore. I think a lot of it has to do with the UFC, though. Unfortunately, I do feel a lot of the new talent are basically looking at really moving to the UFC because it requires a lot less work. I mean, Obviously, it is real. That's the thing with the UFC. It is real. However, you don't have to be on the road for 360 odd days a year, or whatever amount of years, about at least 300 days a year. You don't have to be on the road taking bumps or all the time to your body physically. Don't It's physically demanding. I mean, if you ask Daniel Cormier, he did an interview just recently, and he said he went to TNA Wrestling and he tried it out, and he took a few bumps. They slammed him a few times, and he said, "Oh, this hurts. This is not what I was expecting, and this is not what I want." That's why he's there doing. He's in the UFC because obviously, quite frankly, why would he need to take the pain? You don't have to take the pain. You can give the pain, really. That's the thing with it, and I do feel the new influx of talent is going to the UFC. But who knows? Things happen in cycles. Vince with the WWE Network may work on something else. Who knows what's going to happen? But we'll see. And then on to the investor for Dixie Carter's TNA. Apparently, now on my previous blog, on my previous podcast post on my blog, I said that the Wolves had basically got signed by another investor of the TNA, and I think they're trying to bring in Jeff Jarrett back as the investor, the silent partner, who is going to wreak some havoc and some drama between Dixie and them and the investor, which is going to be interesting because, quite frankly, I think Sting is going. Hopefully, he's going to be going to the WWE. If not, he'll be going to Ring of Honor. Who knows? But Sting is leaving. AJ Styles is no longer there. I think he's going to Ring of Honor, and they have no stars left TNA at the present time. So it is ideal that they pretend that they have another investor such as Jeff Jarrett, and he brings some influx of talent, or even some old school talent at present. That would be good to see, because regardless, I mean TNA wrestling is really great. I have to say, I never really thought they were really good at all until I watched it, and I have to say the wrestling is very, very good, and it's quite like old school wrestling, whereas the WWE seems a lot more manufactured, and sometimes it is better to get like a meal from a diner or a normal cafe as opposed to a polished shop, like a branded shop, because everything is cut so precisely and everything else. There's no flavor to it. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, but it would be good to see. I have to say, TNA wrestling, I do hope them good. I really do, because I have to say they are very good. It is very entertaining, and I hope them all the best. But anyway, I've gone on a bit, and thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it, and please like, subscribe, share, all the other works to my channel, and I'm very grateful for you to listen to this, and have a great day, and thank you very much. Peace out. Bye.